That's a Hellcat. Stop on it though, you're a red eye. Go. Go, 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 go. Oh, you're spinning. Dude, we're at 60 and you spun. Does that scare you?
I felt it right away. I let off.
You were at 60 plus and the tires spun.
That's what I'm saying. This is not. This is not for.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and in today's video I'm going to talk about this crazy new and used car shortage that we're dealing with, and I'm going to share 5 tips and strategies on how you can avoid getting burned in this market, because it's not going to last forever. Also, how you can capitalize on this market a little bit and come out a winner, and a decision I've recently made to sell one of my cars to take advantage of some opportunities in the marketplace and win myself. But first, we got to roll that intro.
What I want is what I see. What I see gets a hold of me. Then I have, then I want. Doesn't need to make no sense to me. All I have cannot be seen. It's in the way of what belongs to me.
Alright, so let's get started. I'm in my 2020 Toyota Prius right now, on my way to CarMax to verify the offer that they gave me, because it's almost unbelievable how much they're willing to pay for this car after me putting almost 10,000 miles on it and driving it for almost a year and a half. It's downright astonishing. So I would be crazy not to entertain this idea. The challenge, though, is that I ordered a 2021 Dodge Charger Scat Pack, because anywhere you go, the prices are through the ceiling on those cars. I would have never imagined that dealers would literally mark up Scat Packs by $5,000 or even $10,000 and build all kinds of fluff into the prices as well, and be downright unwilling to negotiate on the car prices. At least where I live. If you live somewhere where it's different, then go ahead and comment, let everybody know, and we'll all head to your town to buy a car. But right now in Southern California, it's gotten a little bit crazy. So when I called them, they had no compunction, no issue, no shame in admitting that they are raising the prices just because they believe that they can. When a company, a legitimate business, says, we are just going to raise the prices because, hell, we can, and we're going to charge you way more than that car is worth because we can, because there's someone out there that's willing to pay it, and if that someone's not you, then you don't get to have a car right now. We've entered the Twilight Zone, and we've entered the Twilight Zone because these aren't like super rare Bugattis or super rare one-off cars. These are mass-produced cars that we all love. The Scat Packs are amazing, but to put the prices so high, approaching $70,000, rivaling Hellcat prices, I think we've definitely gone a little bit off the grid. So, leads me to this video. Why is all of this happening? Well, you've all read the articles, watched the videos, that there is a semiconductor and a chip shortage. So we all know that, we've heard it, and we get it. That's just what's happening out there, but there's so much more. You've got the car rental companies that, when they were struggling during COVID, sold off all their assets. Their assets were their cars, because they needed the cash to survive the COVID shutdown. Well, now we're back. People are trying to rent cars. They can't find cars. And the car rental shops, car rental stores want to go out there and buy cars. Generally, they average, I read somewhere, it's close to 2 million cars a year, and they can't access cars. The plants have shut down in building cars or reduced their capacity, their workforce, so much because they can't deliver the cars without the chips, that it doesn't make sense to have people building a bunch of cars they can't deliver or sell, so they've cut that way back. So that's a problem too. And then to add to it all, you've got all kinds of other fulfillment issues, parts issues that they can't access, can't get a hold of. The resin for the tires now, they're saying, is an issue. So we're likely to see car tires be more expensive. All these crazy things are happening. But my point of today's video is this is a moment in time that we're all experiencing this. Kind of like my AMC stock a few weeks ago when I sat there and watched it blow past 70, almost to 80, and then by the time the SEC put a halt, I was putting in my sell order, and I caught that falling knife somewhere around $57, still making a phenomenal return, but it's kind of how we're at right now. At some point, the market's going to reverse, and what we know about these automakers is they're going to bring everybody back to work as soon as they can, build these cars complete and deliver them to customers, and they're going to flood the market, and whichever manufacturer does it first is going to win the biggest, so there is a race to get there. But for now, we all have to live in this crazy world. So I put together 5 strategies that I think you should employ and consider, and I'm considering it now. One of them, and there's a beautiful Charger Hellcat just past me. So let's talk about the 5 reasons. So basically all of this has led to a perfect storm. You've got high demand, low supplies. And then the used cars are outrageous too, which is what's happening here. CarMax, and I'll tell you that before we get into the 5 things. So CarMax offered me a ridiculous price. Now, I paid a little over $29,000, like $29,500 for my 2020 Toyota Prius brand new. I put nothing down. I financed it at like 2.99% interest. I collected about $5,000 to $6,000 in mileage reimbursement before COVID kicked in, driving this thing for work. I got $4,500 tax credit, and I got $1,000 back from my electric company for buying a car that was a plug-in hybrid. So basically, we do the math. It's little over $10,000 I made on this car. Actually better than that. It's around $11,000 or so I made on this car, owning this car. Now I'm going to sell this car to CarMax. They offered me $25,600. Now mind you, 3 months ago I couldn't get $25,000. I had one guy who wanted to buy it for $25,000, and I was really close to taking it because I felt like I was getting a good deal. Today, CarMax, who plans to put it on their lot and resell it for more money, is willing to give me what I was able to get private party sale back then. And I guarantee you CarMax wouldn't have given me this price for this car 3 months ago. So the market's got nuts. So I'd be crazy not to take it. This car has made me money. Thing is I need to buy that. I need to buy another car. I need another 4-door car that I can drive for work, because driving the Hellcat every day, I just don't want to pile miles on that thing. I love that car too much to pile tons of miles on it. Plus, at some point, the market's going to level off, and I'm going to be buried in that car if I'm not careful, if I put too many miles on it. So I want to keep it relatively low miles for that reason. So now, let's talk about the 5 ways that'll tie back to what's happening with my CarMax offer. You can capitalize on this market. Just a little bit of advice, some tips. The first tip is don't pay over sticker. Don't pay dealer markups. Now, we always talked about this in the past, about dealer markups. So generally, dealer markups were limited to very low production, very popular first run cars. And there was a reason people paid it, and they justified it in their own head. And whether it was rich people or people who just really had to have that car, they paid it. And they were fine with dealing with the consequences later on, because they planned on keeping the car forever and didn't plan on having to sell it. So being upside down on it or overpaying on it wasn't a big deal. But today, the markups are happening on regular cars, mass-produced cars, cars that are going to be flooded at dealerships at some point, meaning that if you pay way over sticker, you pay a dealer markup on, let's say, a Scat Pack, for example, in 3, 4, 5, 6 months, let's just say at the end of this year, when there's tons of them on dealership floors, you're going to be sitting there having paid $60,000+ for a car that you can get for $50,000. And if you finance it, you put just 10% down, even 20% down, you're still going to be wildly buried in that car, and probably buried for the entire time you end up owning that car. It's not going to be pretty. So why do that? I just don't see any good reason. I mean, if you absolutely have to have a car, then do it, but don't pay dealer markups. Plus, I believe, kind of like a lot of folks out there, I'm holding some too, saying you should hold on to your EMC stock, hold on to it. Let's drive the market back to making the stock go back up. Well, one thing we all can do is just all agree that we're not going to pay $66,000 for a Scat Pack right now. That's just not going to happen. And then these dealers will have to come down on their prices, because at some point they need to turn that car into revenue so they can pay their bills. So we just got to hold out a little bit. Number 2, buy used if you can. Now, I've never said that I'm a new car buyer. I always buy new cars. I like to buy them or lease them, and then as soon as they're out of warranty, get rid of them. That way I don't have a bunch of repair bills. It just has always made sense for me, because they're always business expenses for me. But right now, it makes sense, if you can buy a used car, to just do it. If you really have to have a car right now. If you have to have a car right now, then buy used, because you're still going to pay more for that used car than you would 3 or 4 or 5 months ago. but it's going to be incrementally more. I found a Dodge Scat Pack Charger 392 Daytona. They were asking like $46,000 or $44,000 on it, and really it should be probably around $36,000, $37,000. But in this market, they're probably going to get their $44,000. They wrestled back and forth with me, and they came down to, I think it was $41,000, $42,000. But it's still high, but it's only $3,000 or $4,000 high. So I'm not going to really be fried if I got stuck with that car. Putting $5,000 down, and let's say the market floods with cars at the end of the year, I'll be upside down, but I won't be as bad as paying $5,000, $10,000 from a new car, because there's already been some depreciation taken on the used car. So buying used might be a good strategy right now, even though you're going to pay a little more for that car. Number 3, keep in mind that financing is great right now. When you can get rates as low as 2 or 3% or 1.99% I saw the other day, why wouldn't you? So think of it like this. If you bought the same car, let's say interest rates are higher at the end of the year, and you bought the same car for $5,000 less, you can check this math, don't hold me to it, but let's say $5,000 less, but you're paying 5, 6, or 7% interest, your payment's going to be higher, and you're going to pay your principal down a lot slower. So right now, with interest rates as low as they are, which I saw on Dodge's website, I believe they're offering 0% financing on new cars if you qualify. So why wouldn't you do that? I mean, if you're going to overpay for something a little bit, then go ahead and get the 0% interest. I plan to either take advantage of the 0% interest or lease my Scat Pack when it arrives, unless I find one before then for a reasonable price, because the rates are so incredibly low that I'll be able to pay that car down fast or get out of it if I ever want to get a different car down the road. Number 4, just order a car. That's what I did. If you order the car, a lot of you have asked how this works. You put $1,000, or sometimes they want more. Right now they're asking like $5,000, but I talked them into taking $1,000 up front. Totally refundable. You can stick it on a credit card if you want to, that has 0% interest maybe, or just give them the grand, and they'll sit on the money and order your car for you. Tell them exactly what you want, and 3, 4, maybe even 5 months. Some of you are saying, oh, you're going to be waiting 6 months. Whatever the time frame is, if you can wait, here's what might happen, because the way this works is when the car shows up, you buy the car for what they quoted you on the price. They already gave you a price. You gave them $1,000 deposit, ordered the car, they told you how much the car was going to be. I think mine's like $52,000 or $53,000. When the car comes, you show up with that $52,000 or $53,000 or obtain financing through them, and you get the car at sticker price. So it just makes sense to me. So here's my thought, is probably by the time my car arrives, the market will soften, maybe. And if it does, I'll be in a position to negotiate with them on that price. And yes, I know they watch my videos, and I know Sam's probably watching this right now, but if the market softens, we're going to negotiate on that price. And with Dodge, you know, when they have a lot of supply and a lower demand, they offer all kinds of incentives. Remember the power bucks, all kinds of things come in to play. So that may happen. If that doesn't happen, worst case scenario, I'm just paying sticker price, which is better than all the markups out there that are taking place. So it's a no-brainer to order the car and just wait if you can. Number 5, if you have a car you need to sell, you plan to trade in on the next car, sell it today. Don't wait until your car comes in or until you find the car. Sell your car now, because you're going to get way more money for it, like I am going to get for my Prius. So it makes all the sense in the world. Sell my Prius today for $25,600, and then wait till my Scat Pack shows up and get it for $52,000. And I didn't have any issue or negative with this car. I actually made money on it. I'm coming out of it scot-free and clean. So where alternatively, let's say 3 or 4 months the car comes in, with that car comes a whole bunch more cars on the lot, and now the used car market isn't as crazy as it currently is, and now the offer for my Prius is $20,000, which is probably really what it's worth right now, and they offer you $20,000. Well, I owe $26,000 on this thing, or something close to that. So right now I'm going to write a check for a few $100s to bail out of this car and not have to deal with any negative later on. It makes all the sense in the world to take advantage of that opportunity today, rather than 3 or 4 months from now have them tell you it's worth less, and now you've got to roll a negative into the next car or write a bigger check to get out of your car, or just take a bigger loss on your car. So selling your used car now and finding alternative transportation until then, it's great. Now, I recognize that some of you can't do that. I'm lucky. I've got a bunch of other cars, and I'm going to be able to just muscle through it and take advantage of this high seller's market, and then capitalize on hopefully a better buyer's market later on. If not, again, either way, I win. I sold this high, and I ordered my Scat Pack, so I'm going to buy that technically low compared to the dealer markups. So I hope this helps all of you out there. Hope this is some good advice that can help you with your decision making. And as always, thank you so much for following the channel. Please like, please subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video. Talk to you soon.